So, tell me something terrible.
Task podcast.
We have mics in front of us.
Yep.
This isn't just how we chat casually over dinner.
On the reg.
Yeah.
It's become so much of our life now that the mics are permanently attached to us.
Not really.
No.
No, not at all.
Okay.
Anywho.
Hi, I'm Tiffany.
Hi. I'm Scott.
And you're listening to Tell Me Something Terrible.
Yeah, you are.
Okay.
I was bouncing a lot, like
Really
head up, and I was worried that
into
the
it.
mics were going to like pick up on the reverberation.
This is a very... I don't know who decided pedestal tables were the way to go, but they're not very functional.
No, they are. Do you want to be straddling the leg of a 4-poster table right now?
Yeah, because it'd be a lot better than the wiggly
we have one
wobbly.
upstairs. You want to switch it out? I've tried this
no,
like 4 times.
absolutely not.
You're committed to this
I'm
oval monstrosity.
Sometimes I don't like looking in a room and seeing a bunch of squares.
Tip to be square. Nothing in
it's
it. Well, fish tank's square, but
And so is that.
can you imagine having a not square fish tank?
It's awful.
It'd be
we
fun.
can't even clean the square fish tank.
Right?
That is square, and the doors are square, and the room is square. And
Are
the
you
rug
mad
is
about the
square.
square doors and the square walls?
Yes, I want circle ones. I want to live and feel like I am a hobbit.
We can do that. You can make round doors. Like, that's not that big a deal.
Yeah.
I
They
mean,
do
I'm
it in
not
the
gonna-
Shire.
Yeah. I'm actually only going to do the top third of the door round, so all of our doors look like penises.
That sounds
Yeah.
great.
Yes. It's for people with huge sombreros can still walk in.
Yep, goals.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna convert this 1850s style like farmhouse into a Parisian palace with penis shaped
Yes.
doorways.
It's going to be Aladdin-inspired penis doors everywhere.
No.
Is that what you're going for?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I'm glad you're seeing my vision.
Okay.
Okay.
Very Taj Mahal-esque. Okay, good.
In the hot, humid, sticky Michigan weather.
It's just
only like that 3
today's like
months a
the
year.
first humid day of the year.
That's not true.
Anyway, what's your topic about? Humidity?
Nope. But something very hot.
Okay.
Okay.
The sun.
A volcano.
Yeah, a little sunspouts.
Yeah. So
Magma.
Robert Landsberg.
Don't know.
No. He's dead. So he was taking a hike up the rumbling, spewing...
Now that you say that, a volcano or a mountain is kind of a landberg opposed to an iceberg. His name just makes sense.
No, you're right. Yeah, no, mountains definitely are landbergs.
Yeah. Well, in a volcano, because most of it's underneath.
Yeah,
Anyway,
until they erupt, and then it's no longer underneath.
sorry. I'm playing word association games tonight.
They're fun.
This is going to be the smoothest podcast ever.
Unlike this eruption.
Okay.
So,
If you were like, let's talk about an eruption, I'll be like, yeah, people are probably going to die.
yeah, not as many as it could have been.
Just
though.
a bunch of shit's going to get destroyed.
Yep,
It's going to be like the molasses flood, just with lava.
and much faster.
Oh, good.
Yeah, like I think the fastest...
Well, the expression isn't quick as molasses.
No. I think the fastest that this moved at was 360 miles per hour. 300 roughly miles per hour is the fastest it moved.
Okay, that's getting it.
Do you want to take a guess which eruption it was?
What year?
Here in the United States.
Oh, Mount St. Helens?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
We have ashes sitting right up there.
Yeah, it was that, or if you said whatever AD, it was the Pompeii. Like, those are the only two eruptions that I was going to be able to...
You think Robert Landsberg
No, that's why I asked
was
you.
in Pompeii?
That's why I asked you. Well, he could have researched Pompeii, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
No, when you said America, I was like, well, I only had 2 in the bag. Luckily, you picked one of them.
Yes. So Robert Landsberg was not iceberg, Landsberg.
Correct.
Was taking a hike up the rumbling, spewing north.
Hey, Robert, fucking take a hike.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he was going to.
Okay, good.
It's the last hike.
They call him Bobby Steps. I don't know. That's all I got.
So he was taking his little steps up the rumbling, spewing north side of Mount St. Helens, Washington, in case you didn't know where it was at. That is on the west
Is
coast.
that next to the Hoover Dam? Sorry, that's
It's
a call.
on the right side of the country.
I like to do callbacks that are 50 episodes later, just to let them know they still hurt.
Geographical novices over here.
I have geographical trauma from this podcast.
So this is in Washington.
Okay, yes, the state.
North.
Yeah, not D.C.
No.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's on the wrong
Yeah,
coast.
not a lot of
the
volcano,
other coast.
Not a lot of mountains in Maryland. Well, maybe Maryland. I don't know.
A little bit. So the Appalachian, fun fact, the Appalachian Mountains are actually older than the Rockies. They're just no longer an active growing mountain. They've no longer
matured?
sitting on a plate.
Do you say matured or matured?
Matured.
Okay, good. I assumed you did, but I don't know if I've ever heard you use in a sentence.
Is it pillow or pillow?
It's pillow.
How about milk or milk?
It's chocolate milk.
Milk?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have to say chocolate in front of it, otherwise I feel like I'm forcing the word.
Yeah. Okay. How about bagels? Is it bagel or bagel?
You know it's not bagel.
Oh, look. There are people that call it bagel.
The people that call it bagel call basil.
Ugh.
It's because they've got they're fresh from across the pond. Anyway.
Is it zebra or zebra?
It's not zebra anywhere.
Yeah, it is. It's zebra in the UK.
Okay. We're not in the UK.
No.
If someone
English.
in America said zebra, you just slap them and be like, the fuck's wrong with you?
Just like that.
Yeah.
Watch out for Scott at the zoo. He's throwing fisticuffs.
If you're like, oh, the cheetahs, the lions, the zebras, you're going to get a hand across the face. The fuck's wrong with you?
This is why you're not allowed to go to the African exhibit at the zoo.
Yeah.
Okay. Stumbled my way through that. So
did you? I don't even. Have we started?
Nope.
Okay, good.
Robert Landsberg.
He took a hike.
20
minutes ago.
20 minutes ago, up Mount St. Helens in Washington.
Okay.
On the West Coast.
Yes.
In the early
state of Washington.
Yes, in the early mornings of May 18th, 1980.
Oh, so we just had the 42nd anniversary last week.
Mm-hmm. So, in an attempt to capture a better shot of the events that have been unfolding inside and out and around the active volcano for the last 2 months.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Just
Slow boil. Slow boil.
Very slow. So he was one of a large...
It's more of a pressure cooker situation than a slow boil.
Yes, it is. So he was one of a large handful of people who stayed behind to observe the inevitable eruption.
It's like, I can't see what you're reading, but I know what word you're stumbling over.
Eruption. However, in my mind, my brain immediately was like, interruption. That's not right. The inevitable
erection.
Erection.
Yes.
So this handful of people included photographers, reporters, and volcanologists.
Okay.
Or
thrill seekers.
Yes. Oh, yeah. The ultimate science.
What year was this? 1980?
Yeah.
Okay. So we don't have hippies around. It's just, yeah.
No, but we do have idiots because there's a small group of locals who decided.
No generation.
They truly do not.
They're omnipresent.
This is going to sound real familiar here.
Oh, good.
There was a small group of locals who decided to risk it for the very hot molten biscuit.
Oh, we did this in one episode already.
We're doing it right now because evacuating and waiting for an eruption that may or may not ever come will ruin the local
economy. Nice. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
So there was a handful of locals who decided to stay.
Yep.
Because fuck lava, right?
Yeah.
So there were volcanologists observing from a safe distance, as well as those who were brave enough to rotate watching from an outpost called Coldwater 2.
Okay.
So this was a newly built on a ridge.
Does that respect to Coldwater 1 here in Michigan?
Doubtful. They're really hoping that cold water is they're going to manifest.
Can you
safety.
stand? Can you stand in a river and have any hope against? And not if it's moving at 300 miles an hour.
No. So I was actually
300
reading.
300 miles an hour? You think it's going to care about the river?
The fastest it went was 300 miles an hour. Yes.
Right out of the sphincter?
But there were stories about people actually living through it that had jumped in rivers.
Okay, go ahead. I'm going to try to not interrupt.
I just saw that in passing.
Yeah, I'm going to give you 2 minutes of non-interruption. And clock.
Okay, so they were from a safe distance, but there were brave
Coldwater
souls.
2.
Yep, who were at Coldwater 2. You made it 5 seconds.
I was just about to make the joke that the brave souls were in their shoes, but that's bad too. That's the most dad joke I could come up with.
Yes, the brave souls in their shoes that they needed to walk up the mountain.
Yeah, if lava's coming, those souls are going to be very brave.
Yeah. So this was located 5.5 miles away from the peak of Mount St. Helens. And there was also people that would go to a radio outpost, which is an additional 2 miles away.
Okay.
So the rest of the residents had started to evacuate when the tremors started increasing and the stability of the mountain started to become sus.
I feel like the first tremors probably came out in about 1980.
Oh, like the movie?
Yeah, sorry.
That's a class. That's a classic.
I don't...
You do the Google.
I don't know if...
I don't think that one held up.
Tremors?
Yeah.
1990, the original Tremors.
Damn. There's like there's also like 7 Tremors.
You can watch them now on Hulu.
Oh, that's what we're doing after this.
I don't know about that, but we'll see.
This weekend, we're just going to get smashed and watch Tremors.
Right.
So the rumblings in the mountain started on March 16th.
Okay.
1980, obviously. So the north face of the mountain started shaking just below the north flank, so like at the base of it.
Yeah.
These little shakes slowly escalated to small-ish eruptions on March 20th, its first eruption in over 100 years, paired with an earthquake with a magnitude of 4.2.
Okay.
Decent-sized earthquake. So Mount St. Helens began emitting steam and ash, creating a crater at the top of the mountain, which was initially estimated to be between 200 and 250 feet wide. And there's also
small crater?
Small crater.
The size of a football field. 250 feet wide? Okay.
Uh-huh.
All right. Small
Just
crater.
wait. Small crater. 200 to 250 feet
Okay,
wide.
just taking all the facts in here.
Along with small vents along the north side.
Okay.
Small eruptions continued daily, expanding the crater to 1,300 feet wide.
Okay, that's quite large.
With 2 giant cracks that ran across the summit of the mountain.
So now we're talking like a quarter mile. All right.
So tremors and eruptions were happening on average 1 per hour in March.
Oh, so like contractions. Cool. We're about to have this baby.
Nope. Eventually they did slow down.
We've dilated to a quarter mile.
Yeah. They were false contractions.
Just Braxton.
Yeah, they're Braxton Hicks contractions because they slowed down eventually to just 1 per day through April 22nd.
Okay.
And then all went quiet.
You got to Earth Day and then that's it.
Yeah, no, it is in April. Yeah, probably real close. They were like, we should chill, let Earth have her time.
Is 420 Earth Day?
It's usually around there. It fluctuates. Although if it was always 420, that would seem very applicable.
I mean, celebrate how you must.
So all was quiet until May 7th.
All right.
So the tiny tremors and eruptions had started up again, and they continued through May 17th. Hold on. We got to pause for the cause. I got to take a sip.
Oh, take a...
Of my spicy habanero drink, which felt appropriate for this episode.
Spicy habanero hard cider. I like how you use a metal clanky straw every time.
That's all we have is reusable straws. Look at us.
Look at
saving the earth.
One straw.
All the turtles, one straw at a time.
Yeah.
So the tiny tremors and eruptions started up again, and this wound up bringing the number of mini earthquakes up to more than 10,000 recorded.
Okay.
And that all shook up Mount St. Helens even further.
So, I'd imagine.
Yeah, all this shimmying and shaking had stirred up the magma that was gurgling beneath the surface. During this re-arousal.
Wow.
Yep. And
tantalizing.
Yep. This created, according to the United States Geography Survey, Geographic Survey, USGS.
Us.
It produced a quote prominent bulge.
Well, good morning.
Is that magma in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me? So this had formed along the north side of the mountain, moving upward and growing at a rate.
Continue with the metaphor.
This is not a metaphor. This is facts.
Yes.
It was growing at a rate of 5.5 to 6 feet per day.
Just see a doctor after 4 hours.
So this distended.
What?
This bulge distended from the mountain at a maximum height of 450 feet.
Okay.
So it is growing as it is moving up the mountain, and it is bulging an additional
it is fully
outward.
Engorged. Yes.
Yeah, it is engorged 450 feet. Earth, ground, dirt, and rocks.
The trees
have bulged rapidly.
Yes.
Like, it's fine.
Yep.
Nothing
bad. It's just going to go back in. It's just going to recess back in.
Blue balls for life over here.
Yeah.
I'd
be more scared now if it had gone back in and we just knew it was on there still waiting.
Horrifying. Yeah. Well, that's kind of like how we feel about Yellowstone. We're like, it's about 1,000 years overdue and it's huge. And when it happens, it's going to destroy 3/4 of the United States.
Potentially.
Please, dear God.
Right.
So,
Old Faithful.
So this, the article that USGS article was just that I was getting all this information from. It was very dry and detailed. It was a really wordy report that just felt really ominous and unintentionally dramatic, because words like bulge should not be used to describe something like rock and dirt and things that should be happening on a mountain.
Yeah.
Things you perceive as very solid and not moving.
Yes, a firm structure.
Yes.
Not pliable.
No. But they really was... It just, you have to read it, which sounds stupid, but it really just...
No, I don't have to read. You read, so I don't have to.
That's true.
That's why we have this podcast.
So anyway, the technical term for this bulge is cryptodome.
Cryptodome?
Cryptodome.
Oh,
with
dome.
an M.
Okay.
Cryptodome, because it's rounded. Like a half a dome.
Okay.
Half a circle dome. So, then...
Why crypto?
I don't... I would imagine it has something to do with fire.
I think of crypt. I think of not like...
It probably has something to do with...
I was thinking like pterodome.
Yeah.
Or like terra firma bulgus.
Or like...
That's what I would have gone with.
Pyrodome or something fire related. Yeah. Nope. Cryptodome.
Okay.
So, then a 5.0 magnitude quake shook Mount St. Helens on May 17th, causing an 800-foot wide landslide and creating a progressively more unstable environment on the north slope. So as this cryptodome bulge creeped further up the side of the mountain, it grew even more unstable.
You know what this makes me want to have? That popcorn you put on over a fire, and it like does the tinfoil thing. And it like expands.
Yes, that's exactly. Yes, the Jiffy Pop.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what this makes me want to do.
Jiffy popping its way up to the surface.
You're like, this seems dangerous. Keep going. Just don't burn it.
Well,
yeah.
Mount St. Helens didn't listen.
Yeah.
So, it kept creeping up to the peak.
Yep.
Summit. That's the word for mountains.
No,
the top.
peak. Yep.
Summit.
The not bottom.
The not bottom. Mount St. Helens until the early hours of May 18th, the day that Robert was scaling the north side of St. Helens.
Okay.
So
this seems like a more bad idea with all the backstory now.
Right.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah. They knew this was going on.
It seemed like a bad idea originally, and now that you're like, oh, this giant bulge just popped out the side of it, and it's like...
And had been for like 10
and,
days, and he's still just like wandering up.
Yeah. All I can imagine is the Price is Right. Him just yodeling, just sliding up the side of the mountain with his backpack.
$5. Nope. Slides up a little bit more. $10.
Yeah.
Nope. Slides up a little bit more.
Yep. That's how he's going up the side of the mountain.
So the late night / early shift at Outpost Coldwater 2 was being covered by David Johnson of the USGS.
Mr. Johnson.
Yep. Dr. Johnson.
Oh, Doc Johnson.
So early that morning, he radioed his colleagues safely tucked away in Vancouver, Washington.
Oh, the other Johnson that's tucked away.
He radioed them, informing them that the bulge had swelled to over a mile across.
Wow. When the doctor says this is too big, then congrats.
He needs a good binder, you know. Or was it the sweatshirt pocket? How did you hide it in middle school?
Yeah, that's how you're supposed to. Yeah.
Yeah. Someone get Mount St. Helens a big sweatshirt.
Yes.
Problem solved. So at 8:32 a.m., a 5.1 magnitude earthquake hit Mount St. Helens, and all hell broke loose.
Okay.
David's last words as he radioed the tower a second time was, "Vancouver, Vancouver, this is it."
Okay.
So the north face of the mountain liquefied and started churning down the mountain, shearing off 1,300 feet of the summit, taking along the largest amount of debris in recorded landslide history, moving at an initial speed of 100 miles per hour. And this also uncovered the cryptodome bulge, which then shot directly horizontally through the landslide. So the resulting magma flow increased the speed of the side, like of the landslide, to upwards of 300 miles per hour. So it was just creeping along at a steady 100, hit the bulge. The bulge blew out 15 miles horizontally.
Yeah.
And then that expedited the landslide to 300 miles an hour.
Okay.
Simultaneously, a volcanic plume of ash, more debris, and lightning.
What?
Yeah, because there's that much fast-moving ions that it created thunder and lightning inside of this plume. Shot straight up 80,000 feet into the atmosphere within 15 minutes.
It definitely climaxed.
Yes. Just
in every direction.
It's every 15-year-old boy's wet dream. Just finally got to the point where she touched his pants and he was like, oh shit.
Poof. That's going to be really loud. I apologize. I forget these mics are sensitive.
So I had to Google it. I was like, how far into the atmosphere is 80,000 feet? This puts the plume about in the middle of the stratosphere.
Holy shit.
Yeah. The stratosphere starts at like 11 to 25 miles upwards. This is like 15. So it's smack dab right in the middle of the stratosphere.
Awesome.
Yeah. So a 660 degree Fahrenheit tsunami of debris and magma. Or lava, molten earth, whatever the hell it's called once it finally explodes.
Fire gravy.
Yeah. Fire gravy. It's a much more technical term.
Yes.
Baby gravy. Fire gravy.
Yeah. I'm just trying to keep the metaphors going.
Makes sense. So this fire gravy traveled 17 miles away from the summit in less than 3 minutes.
Okay.
Yep.
That's pretty good pace.
Mm-hmm. So it was destroyed 230 square feet. Square feet.
Oh, so about the size of this room.
No, 230 square miles of forest land.
Okay.
Trees,
forest land. Not
forest and land.
Nope.
The timber, as my cousins call it.
Yes, the forest land.
The forest land. Trees within a 6-mile radius were completely destroyed. The rest were merely knocked down and singed. Within 13 miles of the blast, plastic melted in the air, and as the lava and dirt mixed with the melted ice caps surrounding the peak of the mountain, a phenomenon called lahars occurred.
Okay.
And they headed down the mountain. These are like rivers of like sludgy, muddy lava at 80 miles per hour.
Okay.
So this filled the waterways and rivers for an additional 50 miles downstream, affecting nearly 135 miles of rivers and channels, ripping up trees, destroying roads, destroyed 27 bridges and 200 homes.
Is that all?
That's all.
That's crazy.
Uh-huh.
And like, there's one of two things there. There's probably like shacks or like multi-million-dollar homes. Mm-hmm. Because that's all you get when you get into like really crazy mountainous areas like the UP.
Even the
here.
UP, yeah.
It's like you either have like hunting little lodges or you have ridiculous rich people homes.
Yep.
And there's not a lot in between usually.
No. There might be a trailer that's missing its roof.
I would put that under the...
hunting shack.
Yeah. I'd lump those in together.
So just moments after the initial eruption, sitting at the outpost 2 miles away from Coldwater, because Doc Johnson was only 5.5 miles away. So
yes. Things didn't go great.
He didn't make it.
No.
So sitting at the outpost 2 miles away from Coldwater 2, watching as Doc Johnson's little outlook got swallowed by the lateral wall of magma because it just shot out.
Holy shit. Yeah. That would be hard.
No, he watched it explode. And literally the minute it exploded,
it'd be like,
he called the headquarters in Vancouver and was like, it's happening. And then that was it.
Yep.
And then he watched this man named Gary Martin watched that outlook get decimated.
Destroyed, yeah.
And he was an amateur radio operator working for Washington Department of Emergency Services. He radioed his department just in time to say, it's going to get me too.
And then he got swallowed up by it?
Yep. So the vertical plume, known as the Plinian phase, like the active eruptions that you see that just go vertically upwards. Yeah. This continued for 9 hours.
Wow.
Producing a high eruption column and pyroclastic flows.
Okay.
So the eruption was estimated to reach its peak expulsion between 3 to 5 p.m. So the resulting landslide produced 3.3 billion yards of debris, which is the equivalent of 1 million Olympic-sized swimming pools.
That's okay. You still say that, and it's still unfathomable.
Oh, yeah.
How much shit that is.
Yeah. Well, our truck can hold half a yard of dirt.
Yeah.
Could you imagine?
Yeah. That's insane.
A half a yard of dirt could kill you if someone just threw it on your head.
Well, that's what they put on top of your grave, essentially. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
So this could cover 6.6 billion graves. It could cover everybody in the planet if they all died at once and had to be put. Yeah, because we've got 7 billion people or something like that.
I don't know.
Doesn't matter. We have too many people. And then Mount St. Helens volcanic eruption rained down 520 million tons of ash, which is 1.4 billion, with a B, cubic yards of ash. This blew eastward across the United States, depositing heavy ashfall as far as Montana.
Okay.
And then left Spokane, Washington in complete darkness. So the resulting ash cloud took 3 days to cross the lower 48, and then 15 days to circumvent the Earth.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's just one giant ash
Which
cloud.
is why us having a little thing of ash isn't surprising, because you probably just could go outside and just like...
Oh, pick it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so Mount St. Helens herself lost nearly 1,700 feet of elevation.
I thought you were going to say 1,700 pounds.
That math
St.
doesn't
Helens
make
was looking
sense.
thin afterwards.
She was going on a crash diet.
Yeah. This is one of those like, colon cleanses.
No.
No? Okay.
So what happens when you go to Taco Bell?
Yeah.
So she lost nearly 1,700 feet of elevation and gained a new crater that spanned 2.2 miles across after the eruptions completely ceased the following day.
It's quite the crater.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're like, a football field? I'm like, no.
Well, I mean, like originally, that's like a big... I mean, I guess... I also have not been around big enough mountains to appreciate the actual size of like the peak of a mountain. Like,
yeah. Because when you go through the Appalachian Mountains, it's gradual because they've been rounded off over time from like erosion. So it just seems like you're going in really big hills.
Well,
you don't really notice you're going up a mountain.
Well, and I've never seen like an active volcano, but you see shows where guys like go up to like the edge of an active volcano and look down, and it's like, yeah, it's a giant fucking sir. It's not like a tiny little like.
No, and this happened fast.
Yeah.
So in total, there were only 57 deaths.
That's not terrible.
No, most of them were people that weren't willing to leave.
Yeah.
Like there was just a handful of scientists and reporters and stuff. And then yeah, a larger group of people that were like, but the economy.
Well,
and stayed.
Or they were like the people that stay like during ridiculous hurricanes, like, I'll be fine.
Like my uncle and my grandmother.
Yeah. Well, at least people like
and
hurricanes. Yeah, but hurricanes at least happen like multiple times a year, so you kind of can gauge them. Volcano explosion's a different beast.
Yeah, and you might be able to live like through a hurricane if you get like washed into water. You might be okay. You're not 660 degrees Fahrenheit. You're turning to stone
at 300 miles an hour.
Yeah, you're gone. So there was also millions of wildlife lost and a total of $2.7 billion in damages. So wildlife has slowly reclaimed the surrounding lava fields, and Mount St. Helena is slowly repairing herself. But there have been 2 lava domes that flowed out of the volcano for years. One was from 1980 to 1986, and then another lava flow started in 2004 and ended in 2008. So they're just
still
little lava, like every once in a while, just be like, we're just going to chill for a bit. And when they say a bit, they mean like 4 to 6 years.
Yeah.
And this is all coming from like the crater. So they are further up, but it's still, every once in a while just kind of gurgling out.
It's still somewhat active in there.
So for the most part, Mount St. Helens has remained quiet, but there is a whisper of seismic activity inside the volcano, signifying that the magma stores within are recharging.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So the eruption of Mount St. Helens brought into sharp relief that there are very active and very dangerous volcanoes in the continental U.S., where most of us have just been going about our merry ways, pretending like there isn't something that could actively wreck our collective shits. Most volcanoes, I think I wrote down 116, but I think it might be actually 161. There's like 160 volcanoes that are active in the United States, but most of them are located in
Hawaii.
161?
Alaska.
Okay,
I was going to say
because that's along that Pacific.
Yeah.
There are obviously
Wait,
a few
is that on
in
the
Hawaii.
whole Ring of Fire thing?
Yes, that's the Ring of Fire.
I didn't realize it was included Alaska.
Yep, it's all along that ocean, that
Asian,
tectonic plate, all
through
down China and up,
Philippines
through us.
and all that. Okay.
So I had to tap my phone.
We talked about that on the Patreon episode.
The Ring of Fire? Oh yeah, during the alien episode.
No.
No?
Remember the
Shit. Nope.
guy who doesn't exist, but he kind of exists?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The cult after a dude who no one knows if he's real or not.
Yes.
That one was a good one.
Shamelessly plug. That's on Patreon.
Yeah.
Also,
Gotta get a shameless
hold on.
plug. Man, we recorded that in the living room
Right?
at our shitty little TV tray tables.
Yes. Also, Dano upgraded his Patreon subscription, so I just wanted a quick shout out and thank him for that.
Thanks, Dano.
Yes.
Oh, we got to send him a pin.
He didn't put his address in. I got to harass him about it. He actually just messaged me on Discord about playing a video game. So,
Oh, nice. God, what
Right?
happened? You turned into a gamer. It always happens.
I don't know. I just, I don't actually want to hang out with people, but it's easy to hang out with people when I'm in my own house and they're not in my house. It's easier.
I feel like you might be an introvert.
Me?
Yeah.
No, you are. So I have to be.
I'm not. I'm an ambivert. I'm perfectly capable of chameleoning into different
It's
situations.
a very introvert thing to make up your own words about what
Ambivert
you are.
is totally a word. Fuck right off. Anyway.
I am so special. I am not a regular introvert. I
No.
am this weird ass side shoot
A lot of
that
people
specifies exactly
look,
what kind.
This term came out about like a year or so ago.
Is it because you have red hair currently? You're like, I'm an ambivert.
I hate you so much. I don't know why I even married you. You're such a dick.
Isn't vert French for green too?
I don't know.
Okay.
I took Spanish and
Proceed.
barely passed.
Proceed.
So, people in the continental United States was like, oh shit,
We all gonna die.
we all gonna die from volcanoes
Yeah.
because they're everywhere.
Let's plug them all.
Yeah, that might be a bad idea because then they have
That's a
even
joke.
more projectiles.
That's a joke.
So, from this singular eruption,
Yep.
safety measures were put in place in case this happens again.
Yep.
And the volcanologists were also they also collected valuable data pertaining to this unusual magma formation because most of the time they just go straight up a shaft and up and out. But this was
Giggity.
this was creeping along the surface.
Ooh. Yeah.
It was creeping along the surface like a good pull-out game.
Like a good venereal disease.
And so they got a lot of data
Yep.
involving a. This is a fun word. Do you say data or data?
I say data.
All right, I say data.
I say dead ass, but I say data.
There's a.
That's the fine line. I don't, that's
It's divorce now. Where's
divorce or divorce?
divorce? So they collected really good data.
See, you say data.
No, I say data. I was just making fun of you.
Okay.
Pertaining to the unusual magma formation, and so now they have more information. Now we have safety protocols in place, so something good did come out of it. And then Robert Landsberg was found 17 days later.
Okay.
Now he was just petrified stone, and he was still clutching his camera that was inside of his backpack in an attempt to keep any of the photographic evidence that he'd taken right
preserve
before.
the data?
Yes, to preserve the data.
Sorry. The documentation.
And it worked. The film survived.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's really grainy.
I expected that it was going to be like when Dumbledore opens the camera.
and it just goes
Poof. Yeah.
like a basilisk.
Yes.
Yes. Volcanoes are actually basilisks.
Well, no. I know it's separate, clearly.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that's the vision I have in my head.
Yeah.
He's just like, oh, Collins. Oh.
No. Yeah, it lived. And they developed it. And it's really grainy and scratched up, but it's viable film.
That's cool.
Yeah. So he didn't die for naught.
Well, he did, kind of.
Kind of. Yeah.
But it was his own choosing, I suppose.
Yeah.
He knew the risk.
Yep.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. So I found this because your coworker, I texted her and was like, hey, can you tell me about the thing that Scott said that you were watching on this YouTube channel? Because it sounds super fascinating.
Yeah.
And then I stumbled across a different video.
By the same people?
Yeah, by him.
Yeah.
And it was about Robert Landsberg and on his YouTube channel. And I was like, oh,
Is this where you're going to do sources?
Yes. So
Okay.
the sources was that YouTube channel by Mr. Ballin. He's very dark.
Okay.
And then it was the video that I found was top 3 photos with disturbing backstories, part 2.
Ooh.
And then history.com, 1980, May 18th, Mount St. Helens erupts. And then usgs.gov, usgus.gov, 1980, cataclysmic eruption. And the New York Times article.
New York City.
The Mount St. Helens eruption was the volcanic warning we needed. Desperately needed.
Nice. Is that it?
That's the eruption of Mount St. Helens. So it wasn't just like a typical eruption.
I feel like this is the first time I've actually ever
aggressive.
learned about Mount St. Helens.
Yeah, I knew it was bad. I knew that it was dark for days afterwards because I had a set of great-grandparents that lived out that way. I remember my mom telling me about how they saw it because they're very close.
Well, that's like when we could smell like ashes and stuff when there was all the wildfires down south.
Yeah, and like the sky turned green and it was crazy.
Yeah.
When Gatlinburg burned.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, then that's all I really knew. I had no clue that it had been months in advance, that they did manage to evacuate people, and that it wasn't just like a normal lava spew. It started out like a slide, and then a split second later, it was like, I'm here to party.
All right, so we have... Oh, no, the next episode's still coming out in May. Or no, this one will come out on the 31st.
This one?
Yep.
Okay.
So that'll be a double day. So the Patreon episode will be out the same day, too.
Per tradition, on the last day of the month.
Maybe we'll release that one on the 30th. Probably not. It's a holiday. Let's be honest. But we will record it this weekend.
Yep.
We have to.
Yep.
Because we haven't yet.
Whoops.
Anyway.
Do you know what you're doing it on?
I do know the topic.
Not Madame Tussauds like you promised?
No, not Madame Tussauds. Not this time.
You're going to have to wait, guys.
I have a topic that's fun.
Madame Tussauds might have been fun.
It seems like a lot of research.
It does.
That's going to have to be like I can't research it the day before we record it kind of one, and that's not really my style.
Maybe I'll steal it.
What? No.
No?
Anyway, thanks for listening.
If you've made it this far,
congrats.
Proud of you.
I
Them, not you. I'm not proud of you.
You looked me in the eye when you said that. I was like, are you? It means a lot. I've been going through some. Just kidding. Anyway.
I mean, you have done. You started classes.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. Anyway.
Okay.
Well, yeah. Listen to this one. Listen to Patreon. Tell a friend about our podcast. We wouldn't be mad about that.
No. Appreciate you guys.
Yeah. You good?
Yep, I'm good. Okay. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Oof, that was terrible. Thanks for listening to our terrible podcast. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Podcasts, or wherever you like to listen. Feel free to follow us on Twitter at TMSTPod.
And if you'd like to support the show, you can find us on Patreon at Tell Me Something Terrible.